This family ordered a $1 chicken just to save a few pennies. But looking at the pot overflowing with chili peppers, they were instantly stunned. Dad took just one bite, and the heat brought him to tears immediately. Always the one to hunt for a bargain, took several large bites, leaving her drenched in sweat from the spice. The younger brother was so overwhelmed by the heat he could barely get a mouthful down. But to save money, they forced themselves to keep eating. A few days ago, Dad fell $2 million into debt, so they entered a money-saving challenge. 2 families of 4, living on $400 for 7 days. Whoever spends the least wins a $5 million grand prize. To cut costs, the rival family tightened their belts and stayed in bed, keeping their eyes shut just to sleep the hunger away. This family, however, was so starving they couldn't take it anymore, so they bought a single cup of instant noodles to share among the 4 of them. Surprisingly, they still lost that round, because the rivals had stayed in bed for 2 whole days. But, unexpectedly, the rival man turned around and let a $100 bill blow away, handing this family a comeback victory. They decided to have a meal to celebrate. It just so happened a restaurant was offering chicken for $1, but the rule was only 1 person per table, so they immediately sat at separate tables. They never expected the dish to be packed with a whole pot of red chilies. After a few bites, the heat was unbearable, but the rules stated a $5 fine for every gram wasted. They had no choice but to force it all down. They wanted to buy some water, only to find a single bottle of mineral water cost $30. On the surface, the chicken was a steal, but in reality, they were fleecing customers with overpriced drinks. With no other option, they endured the searing spice and finished the meal. When Dad went to settle the bill, the waiter brought out an electronic scale, claiming the chili broth had to be weighed as well. So, they had no choice but to pick up the clay pots and start gulping down the soup. Mom couldn't take it anymore and rushed to the restroom, hoping for a sip of tap water to kill the burn, only to find there was no water in the bathroom at all. While Mom was in the restroom, the others dumped all their leftover broth into her pot. By the time Mom returned, the 3 of them just gave a quick shout and took off. Staring at the pot full of soup, Mom was completely shell-shocked. She had no choice but to tilt the pot back and drain it in one go. The moment they stepped out, they sprinted to a public restroom at top speed, just to rinse their mouths with water. But then, disaster struck. A robber suddenly approached Mom from behind and snatched away all her money. By the time the rest of the family arrived, the robber was long gone. Luckily, Mom had hidden $200 beforehand, otherwise, they really would have lost the competition. Still, they were now $95 behind. Because of this, the rival family, Ichong's crew, was ecstatic, and they decided to drop a fortune on a luxury set meal.